The WWE signed on to a multi-year deal with ESPN to deliver premium live events at the price of $30 US. When the announcement was made, it was met with displeasure and frustration. The WWE as a whole has lost plenty of quality in the last year, but now they want to offer you that same quality for a hefty price. Netflix is king internationally, and honestly, these pay-per-views aren't worth half of their price. And the reason I say that is because WWE's on this thing where they want you to pay so they can shout that WWE's on fire. It's on fire, alright, it's burning ablaze, and I don't see this getting any better because they already have their money. ESPN's paying them on a deal, X amount of money and all that. It might affect their next deals, but in the time being, the complacency is here to stay. Alright, WrestlePalooza. I don't know why they called it WrestlePalooza, inspiration from ECW, but let's get into it. Okay, the first match on the show is between John Cena and Brock Lesnar. So Brock is back, and I always believed Brock would come back. It's obvious as day. With Brock back, they ran the story of Cena and Lesnar again. I take an issue with it, seeing as the story was done in 2012, 2014, and it's the same exact version. Cena once again has to overcome the Beast, and I'm like, really? It's not so much Cena versus Brock, although I'd rather see him face other talent. It's more so the story they're doing again. He came out with a bunch of kids and had a great entrance. Paul Heyman once again associated with Brock Lesnar. This was teased on SmackDown and does make me wonder if Brock will be integrated into the title picture soon. The match was trash, honestly, and the reason why is because it's similar to SummerSlam 2014, except it doesn't have the symbolism or shock of that show. I actually believed Brock would win here. That's my prediction. It's an easy guess, but the way they did it is so unfortunate because it shows Triple H is out of ideas. Brock was presented as this unstoppable monster, even though Cena is very capable of dealing with the best of WWE. It's Brock Lesnar, yeah, we know that, but I personally do not think at this time John Cena should lose to Brock the way he did. It was a squash and horrific, seeing as Cena is out the door, and now they decide to tell the story. If anything, they could have done this months ago with different lenses. It didn't have to be Brock that did it. They could have done someone else, but at the same time, are they going to push said talent? No, they're not. It's WWE. Brock obliterated Cena in a bad match. The match wasn't good at all. It was just Cena getting beaten up, finishers, all that. And that is SummerSlam 2014, but that was compelling and special to watch unfold. Cena overcoming the odds and doubting himself this late in the game. The guy stood with the best of WWE and held the title for 4 months. Even almost beat Cody Rhodes with nothing but hope at SummerSlam, so it's like, does it really make sense? It's a sad realization that WWE ruined this retirement tour because it was an easy slam dunk. It's just all over the place and serves absolutely nobody. Cody might have benefited, but he was already gonna main event WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Brock, he already destroyed Cena in the past on many occasions, and his name is Brock Lesnar. John Cena's retirement tour should be WWE striving to make his run an all-timer and one of the very best things in his career. But this guy's incapable. Mr. WWE's on fire, and it's gotten to the point where I almost think it's almost deliberate sabotage. I don't think any booker would book Cena's retirement tour to be as bad as it was here. You yourself could book this better than Triple H. The guy loves standing in the spotlight when the show begins to remind you who's boss. When the aura farming returns happen, he's like, this is WWE. And to me, I say no. WWE is this trash we've been subjected to in the last couple of months. A lifeless product. When we see the wrestlers that excelled in 2025 in WWE, there's not a lot. And to be honest, a lot of them don't have the leeway or the power to allow themselves to be presented well. And if you're wondering why I'm so aggressive now of all times, it's because they expect you in the US to pay $30 to watch 3.5 hours of a mid-product that doesn't know its identity until it's time for a return or a TikTok moment. And I despise that. Because John Cena's run should end with grace and a consistent Fury run. A consistent run, by the way, not stop, go, heel turn that doesn't work, retconned, great match, bad match, all that. A consistent Fury run that would allow you to look back on his career and see these 12 months as a notably great, not a notably terrible, boring, disappointing, and at some points, sad run. Nah, I'm good. I got Netflix, the VPN. We don't have Netflix for WWE strictly. It's for the shows and movies on there, so it's practically free. But somebody out there might splurge the cash on this event. And the worst thing that's happened to WWE, other than the fact that they're under TKO, is these guaranteed contracts that they have for deals. Because it allows them for them to be lazy and at times scam these big companies themselves who are expecting a quality product. I don't know what the intentions from ESPN are, but it just doesn't look good from our perspective as relates to the product. But that's what ESPN gets for signing them. I saw the constant glaze, Pat McAfee's return. They try to make it seem like a big event, but when you watch the actual matches unfold, it was Monday Night Raw in a different package. But yeah, it was very disappointing, and I didn't feel like making this video, honestly. I was like, someone's gonna watch it, so it's like, why not? It's a bad feeling to watch a pay-per-view and not feel like talking about it. It really disappointed me a lot. We'll talk about this stuff later. The next match is a tag team match. The returning Usos face Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. This is one of those matches that I wasn't looking forward to after the previous match. With the Usos, this return had been hyped and teased for some time. It was a bit messy, not to mention that LA Knight was a special referee. I really like the team of Reed and Breaker, but in some ways, I wish they weren't associated with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. However, this is WWE. Somebody has to do the talking, unfortunately, but when they're in there, the ring, laying in the shots and going crazy, it's enjoyable. LA Knight seemed to struggle to properly officiate this match. He couldn't keep it from turning into something else. There was good action in here, and while I don't think the Usos were off to the best of starts, it's best both men are together as a team again. They're so damn popular, and the tag team division could use some of the interest from the crowd. Plus, I don't see Jey Uso challenging for the World Championship at the moment, and so that leaves the IC title. This moment was hilarious with Jey on a selling delay. Braun was going crazy. Jey accidentally hurt himself with a chair, and they rushed the finish, unfortunately. LA Knight was so damn loud calling spots in here, and with regards to Jey Uso, he suffered a terrible cut here. The Oracle's guys won this battle. I don't know why I called him the Oracle, but whatever. And it's a weird one to watch live because of what had transpired previously, but it was a solid match. It would have been a great Raw match. Not so great for this pay-per-view, though. I do want to see him running back, though. I will say that. I think it'll be better than this one. Yeah, WWE might have fleeced you, bro. The next match was for the Women's World Championship. Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky face off for the vacant title. So I think many expected this to be the best match on the show. I thought Io Sky would win this match. That was my guess beforehand. And heading into this, Naomi had to vacate the belt. The action here was great. Both women were throwing out a lot and made the title seem valuable. Great exchanges in the early parts of the match, and then came the leg work from Vaquer. Sky was fighting hard through the pain, but the moment she had that disadvantage was the moment she lost the match, because anything she connected with, one way or another, would damage her leg. And Vaquer took advantage and connected with this crazy spiral tap to win the match. I do think they have a better match in them, definitely. Vaquer winning is no surprise, seeing as they think of her highly, but to be a hater, and again, I would want to stay positive and all that, but let's not lie. Let's not be positive for the sake of it. These guys, WWE, will probably drag her title reign to WrestleMania with 3 matches scattered in between the time, but she definitely deserves this one. The Stephanie Vaquer is an important piece of the future women's division, and they have been taking her serious, so maybe the title reign won't disappoint. And I personally hope it doesn't, because she is one of the standout performers in the women's division entirely. But we'll see. CM Punk and the returning AJ Lee face Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. So I'm not a huge fan of the Rollins and Punk feud being extended. I know they have this fight for everything going on, but can we get a break? That said, this dynamic is interesting because it involves Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. I like Rollins and Lynch's dynamic. It doesn't have to be serious all the time and be presented as the best. And it's good sometimes to laugh at yourself. I don't think that will last long from Rollins' side, but I enjoyed it here. The match as a whole was just a vibe. Definitely a highlight for Punk and AJ. It was a normal tag team match, pretty similar to Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle, and the McMahons. It did go a bit long, I would say, 30 minutes. AJ isn't perfect, of course, and I saw some discussion about her ability, but number 1, she has ring rust, and number 2, I wasn't expecting much from her. She's from a different era of wrestling, but I think this should have been a bit shorter. It didn't need the cinema link to get the point across, and I liked how much Seth and Becky gave to make Punk and AJ look good, but please, can this feud end? They could keep Becky and AJ, that would be cool. We don't got a problem with that at all, but I just wish for Punk and Rollins to be separated. But judging by the way things are, and this is me just guessing, I think they could do a Hell in a Cell match to just end this thing for now. We'll see. Stephanie McMahon was announced to be in the Hall of Fame, and I wouldn't be shocked if father shows up because it's his daughter. It feels like it's gonna happen. It's only a matter of time before it actually goes down. And the main event, Cody Rhodes defends the undisputed WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre. To put this short, I was very disappointed with this match. And I really wasn't interested in the build to it, but I was looking forward to the match itself. I didn't really think Drew had a chance, but I wanted to see the action itself. It's always about the road to get to the result. They worked decently, but it wasn't even trying to get to that level of a great match. It also didn't present Drew McIntyre in the best way, because while Rhodes did struggle with him a bit, I didn't feel like the title was in threat at all. And it's a bit sad because this is an ESPN pay-per-view, $30 US by the way, so you would have expected more, but it just wasn't much. Rhodes was basically selling a concussion in storyline. He was taking all his punishment. Drew sold the leg at some point, ended up having his leg destroyed, leading to the finish. But in between all of that was a moment where Drew McIntyre had the match won, but the referee took long to count the fall. Other than that, this match wasn't really much, to be honest. And it's disappointing because I thought it would be good, and it wasn't even that. It needed a little bit more to be good. It needed a lot more to be great. That's what we're going to say about it. They could go with a rematch, or they could do the Randy Orton program. I would personally prefer the Randy Orton program to wait a bit. That could carry the winter, perhaps. But man, it was a disappointing match because we saw better matches from these two in the past. I would have wished for it to be like a great one to close the pay-per-view on top and all that, but it just wasn't. And the pay-per-view as a whole is disappointing. So yeah. Alright, that's WrestlePalooza. Ah, what a scam. It's not a scam for Netflix viewer. If Clash in Paris was on ESPN for $30, I would have been trashing the show much more. I didn't think Clash in Paris was a bad show all around, but that's because it's on Peacock, it's on Netflix and all that. With this is a $30 show. They expect you to pay $30 every month as a part of the ESPN plan to watch this event, right? And you had the same quality on Peacock earlier for much cheaper. So to me, it's like, they gotta up the quality. They have to. This can't be a common occurrence, because if it is, people aren't gonna want to buy the show. And to me, that's a very disappointing realization, because WWE probably already got their money and don't really care about putting on a quality show. ESPN obviously gets you many things for $30, but this is under the $30 deal. So you can't get it for 20, 10, all that. And so in some ways, you're paying $30 for WWE. This is not up to par. Like, I don't really care about seeing Tyrese Halliburton. We wish him well, obviously. I don't care about seeing Pat McAfee. I don't care about seeing Triple H standing in the damn ring like he cracked the Da Vinci Code or something. I don't care about that stuff. We want to see good wrestling. We want to see good action. We want to see good stories come to a head. That's what we want to see. And to me, this event didn't really have all that. Match of the night was obviously the Women's World Championship match, but I didn't enjoy the other matches as much as I think I should have. I really hope they step it up, but they already got their money. TKO, they care about money first, quality second. Well, actually, it's money first, money second, money third, quality fourth. And a lot of the fans are probably going to pay the price for that. So yeah. All right, what you guys think of WrestlePalooza? Please comment down below. And that's it for this video. Make sure you hit the AA on the like button, perhaps the crossroads on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.